The guy I'm talking about, when his dad died, he delivered.
Yes.
When he had the flu, he delivered. He never gave us an excuse for not delivering. That's why we still wear Jordans instead of LeBrons. That's why we wear them.
All right, welcome back to the show, everyone, and good morning to you all. Hope you guys are having a good day so far. It's another hot one over here. You know how it is. I had someone in the member section sent me this and wanted me to react to it. And yeah, why not? Actually, I heard some other comments, not directly referring to this video itself, but talking about MASE and what he said about the GOAT debate. And sure, why not? Let's do it. So this one is titled "MASE Totally Eviscerates LeBron in the GOAT Debate." And this is brought to you by the channel Most Valuable Player. I have featured this channel here at least 3 or 4 times at this point. And at this point, I'm convinced like he darkens the background or something like that, because like everything is really dark. But that being said, we're here to see what MASE has to say. So let's check it out. Everybody, I want to let you know I'm going to link this video down below in the description box. That way, if you want to check out the channel, you can go ahead and check it out. Or if you want to watch this without my reaction, go right ahead. Also, you see a list of channel members. Shout out to every single one of you. I appreciate you all. Guys, like the video? Let's do this. Let's see what all the buzz is.
Even if you were looked at as the GOAT, we're taking that GOAT status down because you got there the wrong way.
LeBron or LeGoat? That was a legitimate question. He hit another milestone. He reached a total of 50,000 points in the regular season and playoffs.
50,000?
50,000 points.
That's a lot of points. I must admit, as a Jordan fan, that is a lot of points.
Hey, now he just added to the list.
He's added to the list.
Yeah, this is in the Lakers 136-115 win versus the Pelicans. Trista, we already know LeBron is in a higher tier that kind of just keeps moving up. Is this enough to make him the overall GOAT?
No.
How are we feeling? 1, about his achievement, and then 2, your thoughts overall on LeBron and then the caliber that he's playing at the age he's at.
It's interesting that media hasn't accepted the fact that this game has been over for many, many years, about 14 years now. This has been over. Nothing he does is going to make him the GOAT. You know, he had that opportunity when he was younger, but it's over now. It's been over. So he can score 80,000 points. If he's only going to have 4 championships, it's going to be all for nothing.
You do that. I'm not going.
And I don't mean that in like the overall like greatest list. You know, he's somewhere in that all-time greats list, but nothing, unless he wins a whole lot more championships, he's not going to pass Jordan. That's just how it is.
I'm going to let you lay the groundwork for that. No. LeBron is great at the longevities he's having. Let's just put apples where apples go, and let's put oranges where oranges go. It wouldn't matter if he gets 70,000 points, right? We're not weighing them against points. We're weighing them against the dominance. If I play much longer, I'm going to get much more points. We're not going by points. If we were going by points, then that means Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would have been the GOAT until LeBron passed him.
Facts. That's why lately I've been comparing him more to Kareem and guys like Wilt, stuff like that, because comparing him to Jordan, they're not playing the same game. Jordan was about winning.
That's not what we're equating this to. I think people.
That was not a jab at Kareem, by the way. That was not a jab at Kareem. I just meant because he was the all-time scoring leader up until LeBron.
Keep missing the argument because they keep trying to slide in new information. New information doesn't change what it is that we're basing this upon. It could change the numbers, it could change the status of yourself, but it doesn't change. We're talking about the chips. We're talking about the dominance. We're talking about when it's asked for, you deliver. It doesn't matter if you get 60,000 points. If at the end of this, you go out the second round.
Yeah.
You understanding what I'm saying? Because a girl got a better BBL doesn't make her like, come on now.
Doesn't make
Yeah, you're 50 years old and can still wear Daisy Dukes. That don't make you the finest girl ever lived. That just means you look good for your age.
Yeah.
Looking good for your age doesn't make you the GOAT. And that's what people are doing. They're talking about you looking good for your age. And if you look good for your age, that means you've been looking good for a long time. That still don't make you the baddest ever. Is that correct as a woman?
Well, I think it's fair, and if you reverse that, I think it's also fair. Like, I like to give LeBron a hard time for, for how he plays now, how lazy he plays now. But that's not what I was judging all of this on. It's comical to me at this point. But, when he was in his prime, all those years where he was going to the finals and losing, that was what it was being judged on, was, can you seal the deal? Can you deliver when all the chips are on the table? And 6 out of 10 times, the answer was no. He only did it 4 times. So that's what it was based on. And, so his fans judging, like basically trying to give him extra brownie points or whatever, because he's putting up good numbers at an old age, even though it's resulting to nothing. This is a complete nothing burger. What he's been doing, if anything, it just hurts his legacy, because he's just sticking around. It's more seasons where it's unproductive seasons. It's just stat padding.
Does that make you
We're judging off of championships and success, team success. You're the captain of the team. How much success did your team have while you were in charge of the team? That's greatness.
the baddest ever?
Ever subjective. Bad for that time.
It make you bad for that time. Exactly. But it doesn't make you the baddest ever because you was able to keep a physique at 60 years old. Your legs still look good in high heels or whatever it is. And I'm not comparing LeBron. I'm trying to make...
He's comparing LeBron to a pretty girl. An old pretty girl.
It's an understandable point for ladies. Because if you see a lady that looks good at 53... it doesn't mean she looks better than Vanessa Williams, right?
So when you say that, and I want Tristan to finish her point.
Do you understand that point? Y'all don't have to agree with me. Do you understand
I understand.
the point?
I understand.
So I understand your point, and I didn't want to go off on a tangent. And I'm going to make this point really, really quick because also to that point,
I hate lies. I hate lies. I really do. I hate lies.
You can say what you want, but to even like compare, like, okay, best for longevity, baddest for that time. And then for women, I think of like Kim Kardashian, right? She's looked good for the longevity of her career, which also in comparison, I'm not saying like Kim Kardashian is the looks of like LeBron in basketball, but like kind of, because that's the same kind of concept.
Okay. So I'm glad you said that, because the way Kim Kardashian came about her success, for me, I don't value that because of the way she came about it.
That's a damn good point. Okay, this is cool. I get why you guys wanted me to watch this. He's cooking here.
To other people that have different morals and different principles, they may look at that and like, so what? She's a billionaire. I don't count money that you get the wrong way. I don't count that. You know what I'm saying? There's some people like, oh, I won 100 games. But you won 100 games on steroids. I feel the same way about rap. If it comes out that these rappers did these things to be at that level, and I'm like, no, bro, I was doing that without doing that. Yeah. So I don't hold a success on the same level.
That's how I feel about guys like Logan Paul and stuff. They made their success off of scamming their fans for millions of dollars, and honestly, it might catch up to him at this point. I've been following it. And I kind of hope he gets what's coming, because he has scammed his fans for money multiple times, and it looks like there's no end in sight. So he's got like $1 billion. Is that to be celebrated? Not to me. Not in my opinion. He didn't do it the right way.
At that point, even if you were looked at as the GOAT, we're taking that GOAT status down because you got there the wrong way. Get there honestly. You got there. Now all this stuff comes out. You got there these ways? Nah, I don't respect that. You're nobody. You're actually lower than the people who we thought was under us.
That's a really good point, and I kind of want to get your perspective on LeBron more then. So in that analogy, do you think that there's something besides the amount of rings that is bringing LeBron down in terms of the dominance? Like, do you
Yeah,
think
let's
because
talk
he
about
got
it.
his
Yeah, let's
rings-
talk. Let's talk about
Well,
it.
when can we say he was dominant? Like when? And I mean, you can make an argument for when he was going to the finals every year and losing, but that's not domination. Domination means you win. You're dominating your peers. So, first of all, I can't think of a time where he was actually dominant. He was second place for a lot of his career. He was second place. That's close to dominance, but not dominant. And then what has he been doing over the last like 5 years? What's going on with LeBron? I mean, he got that one bubble ring. Cool. What about the other 4 years? It's not dominance. Just because he's still in the league and he's scoring a bunch of points does not mean he's dominant. That's called a stat pattern.
It's not just the rings are won. Of course, it's the championships, and there's people who won more championships than Jordan. So it's not just the rings, but it's showing up when it counts. Isn't that what makes you great? Mm-hmm. That you show up when it counts. That's why people love God, because he comes through. He's faithful. He's faithful. Is no excuse for not delivering. That's what I'm more so talking about. It's not the 50,000 points. I said it myself. If LeBron wins a championship with his son, then I could start having that conversation. Until then, I can't have that conversation until you come through, pause, when we really need you to, without excuse. Him joining other people to get those rings, that definitely plays into his legacy. That would be no different than if you find out that I was buying all my cells. That plays into how we look at you, right?
Yeah, for sure.
We can't throw that away. We can't highlight the things that you do good and turn a blind eye on the things that weren't correct. Is that correct? Or we just, because that's what I'm talking about.
All right, let's do it in the comments real quick, guys. Here's an easy way to gauge greatness. You got two choices. Do or die, we have to win a championship this year. We're about to enter preseason. We have a decent team, but we don't have a star. All right? That's the layout. We're about to start preseason. We need to win a championship, or I'm going to die. All right? Like, that's it. Or you're, in this case, you're in my situation. So this is a do or die situation. You can hire either LeBron James or Michael Jordan. One or the other. You need a championship, or this is it. This is the last year of your life. Who are you picking? Go ahead and answer down below. This is going to be fun.
You joining teams, you're moving stuff around.
Mind you, I say you have to win the championship. You don't have to get there. You have to win it.
It's like me going in a park and there's 2 7-footers and all the other kids are 5'10". And I picked the 2 7-footers and I'm playing against all of the kids 5'10". But you want me to believe that you did something?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you were playing with you stacked your
stacked
team.
the deck. Yeah, that's why I always say it. He stacked the deck. He's always stacking the deck.
You stacked your team.
And then the question that I have though about the longevity, the female analogy, the women analogy. Do you think if you're the baddest girl in your senior year in high school through like sophomore year in college, and then you fall off, like rim check Jordan Wizards, and you have a short but high peak, but then you have somebody who's like maybe slightly not as hot, but is hot like Halle Berry into her 50s. You don't weigh those things at all. It's just like whatever your peak is, even though you might have fallen off of a cliff in your early 20s.
That's a weird question because Jordan's peak was 15 years, right? 84 to 98, 15, 14 years, whatever that is. That's not like 3 years, So her analogy doesn't work for me here because she's comparing like 3 years versus 15 years. And then we're talking about 15 years versus like 21 years for LeBron or whatever. You know what I mean? So no, I would rather have the 15 years of pure dominance, and than having 21 or 22 years of not. of just coming close a lot.
No, I do see that point, but Jordan didn't have that. That's why I'm trying to say that. That will be very much true. I'm a realist, you know. I'm gonna weigh both sides. Like if LeBron comes and he gets, let's say, 5 championships, and he didn't run to Miami to get it, he would definitely be in that. He would definitely be right there with Jordan, right there.
I agree. If he would have done it, the homegrown, built in Cleveland, like we all wanted him to do, and he would have stayed there in the hard times like Jordan did, and just kept building, and then he built a dynasty, and he got 5 championships. At that point, yes, I'm comparing him to Jordan. He's got 50,000 points and all this other stuff. You know, he's got 5 rings. He did it all in Cleveland. Like at that point, we're having a real talk here. But yeah, the cheating, the ring chasing from such a young age, the stacking the deck, all the stuff that we talk about here. No, he didn't just do it the wrong way in one instance. He did it in so many different fashions.
Where you can even say, okay, some people could put him over him, and I wouldn't be mad at that.
Yeah.
But
Same.
the things that certain players have done to get their rings, that's different. That's different for my mindset. Me, and I'm not the end all say all to anything, but I'm just here to voice that opinion. Because when you do certain things like that, I can't deem it as the same. Are you a great basketball player? Yes. Do you have the most points? Yes. Have you been the best for the longest? Yes. But that don't make you the best.
That's that. But Trista, so I just need a little final.
Because when we
answer.
needed you to be the best, you walked off.
Yeah.
When we needed you to be the best, you blamed other people.
Yes.
So we got to keep all of that on the same scale. The guy I'm talking about, when his dad died, he delivered.
Yes.
When he had the flu, he delivered. He never gave us an excuse for not delivering. That's why we still wear Jordans instead of LeBrons. That's why we wear them.
That's fair. Do you put Steph Curry then over LeBron because Steph didn't ever leave a team, even though he
I actually
inherited.
Yes, I'm glad you put. Now you're getting my mindset. I actually hold Kobe over LeBron to me, because with everything people saying, Kobe got his 5 championships with the team he was with. When they went down, he went down with his team. When they came up, he came up with his team. He never felt like he had to go to play with Ray Allen to win. He put the team on his shoulders.
Yeah, he did.
When people said, well, you only got those because Shaq was with you. He got them without Shaq, without moving.
Yeah, he built without Shaq. That was the thing. And it looked terrible for the first 2 years. It looked terrible. It was Kobe against the world out there. But guess what? He was still making the playoffs. Slowly but surely. They were building a team, building chemistry. Next thing you know, he goes to the finals 3 years in a row and wins 2 of them. You know, that's the story of success. These kind of stories are the success stories. Jordan staying in Chicago from 84, until 90 and having no success. That is, but then all of a sudden, he kept building, and then he's got a dynasty. And he's got 6 championships following after that. That is a successful story because he didn't run away when the times were hard. That's where the lack of respect is coming from when it comes to LeBron. And he knows this. He knew this when he left. And then when he did it again. And then when he did it again. Okay? And he's probably about to do it again. Don't be surprised if he goes to Dallas, you guys.
Same location. Y'all come play with me.
Yeah.
Can't say you're the king if you're following other people to play.
That's what a real king does. I build my kingdom. Everybody comes to my castle. Like, you come to me. That's greatness. Greatness doesn't chase other greatness, and say, oh, well, okay, I need D-Wade and Bosch and Kyrie and Kevin Love. Like, I need that. So I'm going to go to where you guys are. I'm going to go to your castle. That's not what the greatest does. That's not what a real king does. King builds, everyone comes,
Come from. You can't do that. And I know today we have better media and we had better access to the media. We didn't have internet and stuff like that. So you can paint narratives. But even when people act a certain way, when they get around real men, we know who's who.
Yep.
We know who's
Absolutely.
who. You can lie to other people. You can't lie to people like me. And that's probably why people don't like my takes. Because you can't lie to me. You can lie to other people that's infatuated with things you've done. But I can see through it. Great basketball player.
That's why most of his fans, LeBron's fans, are very young. Very young. They don't know what a liar looks like. They don't know what manipulation looks like. They haven't been hurt yet, you know what I mean? And I mean, it's a great thing that they haven't, but they don't have the perspective. Us older dudes, nah, man, we've seen this before. We've seen people just like LeBron, and we know what it's like to be around a person like that, and it's not good. It ain't good for no one. So, yeah, I don't know any grown men, like outside of the media, because they're getting paid for it. But in the real world, I don't know any grown men that are past like 25 years old that think LeBron, that thinks LeBron is the GOAT. Like, not even one.
Number 3 still to me. Number 3. That's high though.
And then Steph.
Okay, so
or
he's
Magic or who?
I can't really say right now because I'm really in this heated discussion. It's Jordan, it's Kobe. People be disrespectful putting LeBron before Kobe.
Agreed.
LeBron is not before Kobe. Kobe got 5. Kobe was as dominant. There's nobody that would say LeBron is way more dominant than Kobe. What are y'all talking about?
Yeah, when?
Did Kobe not exist? What are we talking about? When Kobe was
Kobe
here,
got 5, and he went to the finals 7 times, right? So 5 wins, 2 losses. Looks a lot better than 4 and 6.
is he dominating Kobe?
Nope.
Where are we getting this from?
I agree. I think that Kobe is probably one of the most disrespectful superstars or disrespected superstars that we have. Like, the fact that he's not in GOAT discussions like all the time is insane to me. Like, that's insane to me, especially as somebody who grew up hating the Lakers, watching every Laker game as a Portland Trailblazer fan. Like, he was a killer. He was like as clutch as they came. And he had a mentality that, you know, is sort of like doesn't exist anymore. Mm-hmm. As much as guys want to say they have the Mamba mentality, not many people do.
Yeah.
What?
So she's a Portland fan. I'm a Suns fan. And I'm sure all of you guys have the same story. We hated Kobe. Well, unless you were a Laker fan. We hated Kobe. We hated the Lakers. But we feared him. Whenever we played him in a big game, like if it was a playoff series or a do-or-die game, we weren't happy going against Kobe. That's actually called respect. You know what I mean? So we all, at the end of the day, respect that man. LeBron, what happens? Dude, I laugh when we're paired up against LeBron. If we're matching up against the Lakers, I'm happy because I know he's not going to come through. While when we're going against Kobe, even if there's 30 seconds left in a game and we're up by 8, I'm nervous as all hell. LeBron, they could be up by 4 with 30 seconds left, and I have it in the back of my mind, and it's usually correct. And I watch it play out in real time. He's going to F this up for his team, and he does. He shits his pants.
I agree with that, Jake.
Yeah, I want to add to that because I do. First of all, like Steph Curry is my GOAT, but I think Kobe is definitely up there. I think one of the things about it, especially with like, not to be the voice of Gen Z, but like people, I don't think we ever leave Kobe out of the conversation or out of the discussion because he definitely is stamped there, you know, like top tier. He's the GOAT. I really feel like he's even in his own lane, but I do think that people are, especially younger generations, are entertained by what's currently in their face.
Yeah, recency bias.
It's the attention span thing.
Of the moment. Prisoners of the moment. Because is nothing you go back and look at and say, okay, oh, this is that much greater than this. So I wonder, where do they get this narrative from? Just put Probably because they watch ESPN or they watch these major old networks that feed this information and come up with stats and come up with ideas that make people focus in on that one part and say, oh, yeah, he got 60,000 points. Okay. And Wilt Chamberlain had 100, but we don't bring him up. Right. And what's his name? And Bill Russell.
Yeah.
And all of these people had 10 rings or whatever they got, you know, but we don't call them the GOAT. We call you the GOAT because you're the greatest of all time, not the most points of all time, not the most blocks of all time.
Yeah,
the greatest of all time.
Yeah, it's not the longevity award. I give the longevity award to LeBron. Fine, take it. Actually, probably Vince Carter because I think he did it without PEDs.
I mean, we put these.
But anyways, that's not the conversation. We're talking about the greatest of all time. Longevity is just one small factor in what could be considered the greatest. Greatness is winning, man. Greatness is winning, how you did it, inspiration, all this.
People on the stage. Let's define what the greatest of all time is.
Yeah, do it.
We put these two on the stage, and this one outperforms the other one every single time. So I'm saying if you put Jordan and LeBron on the stage, Jordan will outperform him every time. If you put Jordan and Kobe on the same stage in the prime, Kobe would outperform him every time. That's what we're going off. Because I even have a hard putting Magic under him, but I understand. He may, with his athleticism, outperform Magic every time. And I'm okay with that. As long as it's the truth, I'm okay with it. I don't like when people are biased because they like a person, or they're biased because they need an interview, or they're biased because they have financial gain to why they're saying what they're saying.
Well said.
Very, very.
And everybody I hear talk about this conversation have an agenda in the conversation. So you never get the truth from people who have an agenda for why they're saying what they're saying. That's bias either against the person or bias
in favor
for the person. Yeah. You couldn't name one person that had this discussion. Probably. You probably could. But I don't see one as of yet that I've heard of that wasn't either bias against LeBron or bias for LeBron.
All right, so
just say it. We're talking about clutch sports, man. All right, so that's the end of it. Damn. Okay.
You know what I love most about this show? The truth, the realness. Okay, I mean, what other show can you go on where somebody is gonna really speak their mind? Right, most of these shows that you see, especially on ESPN, especially on Fox, you got people who are paid off, who are signed, and who are bought, who are sold
by Disney and Clutch.
Okay, so at least this show, Mason Cameron, even though they say a lot of things that get themselves in trouble, they got a lot of beef with people. People are upset, you know, because they feel disrespected. But that doesn't stop them from speaking from the heart. That don't stop them from being real, right? And letting everybody know, you know, what they feel. Because out there's a lot of people who feel this way about LeBron James. Okay, so when Mason's speaking, he's really just speaking for those people. And they need, you know, to have their voices heard. They need to have their opinions be spread out there. We can't just have, you know, people who are bought out to Clutch Sports or whatever speaking. We can't just have the Gilbert Arenases. We can't just have the Brian Windhorst or the Kendrick Perkins or the Nick Wrights, all right, who for the last, 10 to 15 years, all right, who have been pushing the same narrative over and over.
Yep, Shannon Sharp.
Right, when they go home and they lie down on their bed, rest their head on their pillow, they don't even believe, all right, half of what they're saying.
Oh, yeah, of course they don't.
Right, and Kendrick Perkins, he said it one time when he was on an interview with JJ Redick. He said that he was told by producers to say a certain thing. Right, so he's admitted it.
Yeah, and I think at that time he was speaking out about they were trying to push an MVP narrative for LeBron. This was last year, I think. And then him and Stephen A came out and started speaking up against Clutch. How like they'll call you off the hook. They'll even meet you in person, to basically be like, hey, why'd you say that about LeBron? You should say this instead. You know, it's like a mafia.
If you think about this, just add it up, okay? Kendrick Perkins said this. So Kendrick Perkins, for the past 15 years, let's say excluding 1.5 years because him and LeBron now are in beef. Right, he had been one of the number one supporters of LeBron, and he said this. I remember him and Shannon were going at it for who was the number one supporter of LeBron.
Wow, that's
he
weak.
Said himself that he was paid off, or he was being told to say a certain thing.
Yep, he did.
All right, by producers. So,
and so many of us saw it. I reacted to it. We've all seen it. Yet so many people just like it's like they forgot. I don't understand how they forgot. That should have just told the entire story right there. And all the pieces of the puzzle should have fallen in place. For any free thinker out there, it should have all become crystal clear. For a lot of us, it was clear years ago. But for everybody else, right then, Kendrick Perkins himself saying, yeah, this is what's happening. And he didn't like it. So he asked Stephen A for help. And Stephen A helped him live on air. And they spoke up against it. They spoke up against Clutch and their bully mentality and how they're bullying the media, including themselves. What else do we need? What else does anybody need to know in order to go, okay, what I'm watching is fabricated. They're being paid off to say this stuff. It's not real. And then why do you still watch it after that? Will you be in a conversation with somebody who just lies all the time and you know that they're a liar? They're lying to your face in the moment. Do you really put energy into that person, or do you walk away? I walk away.
This goes to show. If he said that, it simply means that others are being told that way as well. Okay, but you have a show like this.
Yeah, Stephen A said the same thing.
Where, the guys they're not signed to anybody really. They have sponsors, but those sponsors have nothing to do with sports. So they can say whatever they want, and they can diss whoever they want. Right? They can offend whoever they want, and they don't care. So we're happy about a show like this, and we're going to keep giving you guys rawness, the realness from these guys. All right? So
that's awesome. That was a great video. I was looking for the channel that he took it from. Oh, there it is. Nope. It's not there. Okay. Bummer. I'm curious what show he pulled that from. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments. He said it straight right there, and Mace nailed it. So, to what most valuable player here is talking about, I agree 100%. That's what people like us are for. It sounds like he's not paid, he's not sponsored. I'm definitely not paid or sponsored. I've never taken a sponsorship. In fact, I worry about the idea of ever taking a sponsorship simply because I don't want to be told what I can and can't say. You know what I mean? Because that's how it goes. I did look into it just because, in case the opportunity ever came, I wanted to be prepared for it. And I didn't want to be like, ooh, and just immediately like jump at the money or something. But the way the deal works is they'll ask, okay, hey, we'll sponsor 5 videos or whatever, and we'll pay you this much money. You read the ad thing. You've seen it on YouTube channels. But the deal is, before you can publish your video, like me, I record a video, I then edit it, and then I publish it. There's nobody seeing this. There's nobody reviewing this. Nobody. Like, you guys see it before anybody else does. But what would have to be if I was sponsored was I'd have to send it to the sponsor, have them review it, and then approve it. But what normally happens is they'll send it back for, hey, could you cut out the part where you talk about this, or could you cut out the part where you talk about this, and put this in there instead. That's how the game works, and I'm not a fan of it. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way I would ever take a deal like that unless it was straight up. I don't have to send a video to you to review. If I publish it and you never review it and you're gonna throw me money to do an ad spot, now I'll have a conversation with you. But not if the sponsor is in control. And that's what Most Valuable Player is talking about here. When you're dealing with somebody on like ESPN, of all things, you have a lot of people to answer to. You have all the internal people in ESPN to answer to. Then you have Disney to answer to, like Disney. And then after that, you probably got Clutch Sports to deal with, because they're breathing down your neck. So you can't just be real, because there's a ton of repercussions to being honest and real. Anyways, I kind of went on a tangent there. I was going to do a quick outro because I talked a lot during the video, but here we are. I'm just going to leave it quick. MASE nailed it. I agree with what MASE said 100%. And he's pretty cool with his analogies too. So anyways, yeah. Bruce Lee's the GOAT. I'm out of here, you guys. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this, and dislike the video twice if you think Teen Wolf is the GOAT. Follow that up by 1 like, and then most importantly, this is the Be Water, my friends. Peace out.